Guess who it is?
Fuck you.
It's
Oh,
us.
sorry.
We're back. A series of weekends being lazy and having other shit to do. Finally back with the podcast. What have you been up to other than forgetting that we do things on Sundays sometimes?
Me? Are you talking to me?
Yeah, you said that. You said that last week. We never do anything on Sunday.
We never do anything on Sunday. I mean, lately, that's been the case. But
This counts as something.
I guess
So anyway,
this
we're
does count as something. Yeah.
playing Borderlands. What did we miss? I think we just got sucked into Destiny the last 4 or 5 weeks, right?
I don't know. We were talking about Destiny on the last podcast, but
Yep. So
I
we
think
went
we-
through
I
a
think
year's
we
worth of
actually-
content in
I think we've already talked about that. Though.
2
I
months?
think that was the last thing we talked about.
Yeah, well, we've been pretty much playing that, and then we had like a weird week where there was nothing to play, and
We did some
Borderlands.
Microsoft shit.
oh yeah, we played Gears. Man, we were desperate. It's not bad. It's just that whole platform needs some work. It's hard to connect. The ironic part is I actually like the game bar thing now. I left it on. You just hit Windows G and you get an overlay. And you can control your sound. You can see your performance. You can stream to Mixer, I guess. I don't know. I don't use that. But you got all your friends that are online, and it treats Windows 10 like Xbox Live.
Right. So shit.
Well, no. I mean, it's weird. It's like I don't actually use it, but it's kind of cool. It's like I want to use it. It's
I can dig
actually, I think it's better than the Steam overlay. You know, if only you could get to like, they'd probably implement Edge, the Edge browser, right?
Yeah. Really trying to force that in there.
Like they gave up and they
Totally
were
not
like,
Internet Explorer.
no, yeah, well, they gave up and they're like, we're just going to build this off of Chrome. That's the new one.
Yeah. And then they had to change the name because it was so scuffed for so long. Just the name.
And I tried Edge for a while, and like it wasn't bad. It's just that sometimes you'd run across content, you just get an error, like, oh, you can't open this because
It's not good either. I mean, each browser has its benefits. You know, Chrome is your corporate Google overlord watching everything you do, and Firefox is still a bunch of college kids hoping that they can get enough donations to keep running it.
yeah, well,
Eventually, we'll only have Chrome. That's the inevitability of reality. I don't know how many people out there don't get it yet, but the reality of the world is that eventually we're going to live in a dystopian society. It's not preventable. Because even if you get to a utopian societies lead to dystopian society. That's just the way it is.
it's a very negative way of looking at it.
Well, yes and no. I mean, you know, you look at Blade Runner, there are people living luxury. There are people that are not living in the slums of the streets and shit, you know. It's possible to, you know, they're just, they're, I don't know. We got this weird thing in here where we live in America called the middle class, you know. And it's like this weird concept that never existed throughout history. But it also doesn't exist in any of our storytelling for like and I honestly can't see a middle class existing in like a dystopian reality or anything like that. I mean, maybe you have to leave the poor people behind, though. That's the reality, though, right? It's true. I mean, you just can't. I don't think it's possible to take care of the poor. It's just not possible, because if you take care of the poor, you're just taking from the middle class, because the rich always find ways to circumvent or they can handle those kind of costs.
Oh, hey,
right?
There's modifiers on, by the way, because it's Mayhem 3. Minus 50% pistol, submachine gun, and shotgun damage, plus 50% assault rifle and sniper rifle damage. Enemies take 50% less damage from shock. Enemies gain plus 20% weapon fire rate. Enemies fire 2 additional projectile per shot. So don't use pistols or submachine guns or shotguns.
Not a side mission, by the way. And, or maybe it is. So, just to finish my thought here,
I'm gonna let you finish.
you can't. I think you can't have a middle class because I think if you're gonna have a middle class in a dystopian society, I think you have to ignore the poor, because as soon as you start taking care of the poor, you're doing that through government. I mean, yes, you could do it through charity, but then you kind of have to stop caring about the poor and let people that are willing to do charity be the ones that do that. And you just don't think about it if you're not a charitable person. But if you go through government and do it, it's always going to be the middle class that pays for it, because, even if you do some things like, well, if the rich tries to circumvent, we'll just do a Bernie Sanders and tax the hell out of the rich. Okay, and what happens when they leave your country and go to another country and live there? Now, where are your rich? Now the rich are the middle class. That's where all the money comes from. So now you have turned the middle class, who can't leave because they don't have the funds for it, into the poor. And now you have a dystopian society. Congratulations.
Hey.
So that's why I think a dystopian society is inevitable either way, because, you're going to have to ignore the poor at some point.
And the point of all this is that Borderlands takes place in a dystopian future.
Right.
And that's the theory of how we see.
And if you're a vault hunter, you're basically middle class, because the idea there is that if you get up off your ass and do hard work, you too can be rich and wealthy and have a lot of guns. Well, potentially. The story of Borderlands is about a vault hunters that saves the world, right? But realistically speaking,
well, how many are there really?
I'm sure there's a bunch of them.
They just keep busting them in from somewhere at the beginning of all these games.
Well, I think they die a lot is the thing.
Oh, well, yeah, that makes sense. But when you die, you just come back.
Well, no, it's not Destiny. There's no...
Well, then what's the whole, every time you die, you go through that whole VR-looking thing, and like you're in hyperspace. And then you respawn in a place called New You, like it just reconstituted your body.
Yeah, I think that's called game mechanics.
It's not canon? You don't think that's canon?
Something.
I mean, there are a few missions where they straight up kill you and then talk to you when you respawn like it's no big deal.
Yeah, it's probably some cloning or some shit.
Anywho, aside from all the fucking stutters and technical issues and weird shit, Borderlands is good. It's just a little bit, it's almost too much technical shit that you have to dick with.
Well, the problem with Borderlands is it's 100% random.
Yeah.
There's, that's kind of one of the things that makes Destiny such a good game comparatively, is that at least in Destiny, there are some items. Yes. At least in Destiny, there are weapons that you can pursue straight up. It's not 100% random. I think that's the problem with Diablo 3. I think it's a problem with Borderlands, but everybody gives it a pass for some reason. It's right here. I honestly think that 100% random is stupid. Now, some people say, yeah, but some bosses drop specific weapons. Yeah, and those weapons suck. Those weapons suck on purpose.
Yeah, a lot of them suck. That's the problem when you have procedurally generated.
Suck, yeah.
A lot of them suck. Yeah, there's a lot of them, and they're all unique, kind of, I guess. But you don't want to use most of them because they suck.
Yeah,
I kind of lucked out and got a handful that actually feel pretty good and also are pretty good.
When you have a good weapon that you like, and then something drops that's just obviously better in terms of performance, but you're not enjoying it.
Yeah. And that's pretty much the story of Borderlands. I've only played through with Zane, but I got a pretty good build going. Being invincible within a little bubble shield that I carry around me. A lot of random drops. And I was playing after the patch, so it came out, and when you played on Mayhem 3, it would just rain fucking legendaries. And then they nerfed it.
Yeah, it always happens like that, too. There's always a bunch of fucking losers that ruin it for everybody by trying to get to max level as quickly as possible. And, of course, they just figure out these fucking cheeses.
Where are you? Oh, shit. Are you okay? You almost died right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
There's
besides,
like 6 badasses.
we've been doing a lot of looting, shooting. I think if,
I
we're just in
being on
some
a new
kind of...
engine, it's definitely a lot better with the controls.
Yeah, that's a big part of it. Now they just need to smooth it all out. Shit, we're going the wrong way again. Because it's really stuttery.
Yeah.
Even when I'm not streaming.
It doesn't run that well at times.
I mean, it's the same thing. Like, Unreal Engine always has these weird things about it. Like, it's held together with duct tape. It's probably really easy to use. A lot of built-in shit. Just makes it easy to make a decent game, but... If you're a AAA studio, why the fuck are you using Unreal Engine? Like, Remnant from the Ashes makes perfect sense to use Unreal Engine. This game? Like, why? Why don't you use id Tech like fucking
Gearbox is
Rage?
kinda indie.
I mean, they made Opposing Force back in the day. They're not that indie.
Yeah, but things have not really been super positive for them. And they've had a lot of... I mean, I know 2K went under and then somebody got the rights to it or some shit.
2K Nordic or whatever. And started buying up all these IPs.
Yeah. They will like rename themselves or some shit. I don't fucking know what's going on there, but I think I mean, if Destiny can be considered, if Bungie can be considered
Yeah, I guess indie these days just means you don't have a publisher.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, you kind of do, and it's Steam or Epic or whatever. I think
we should use a new wording. We'll call them small-time studios will be called runts or peasants. And big-time studios will be called overlords.
Yeah, that makes sense. Seems legit.
Except for
That's
Bungie.
just
Bungie
weird.
gets its own classification. Shit.
How come, like, where are all the single A studios? You hear about AAA a lot, and
Right.
you kind of see AA every now and then.
This would be a AA game, I think.
You think so?
Yeah, it makes sense to me. What the? Help.
I got nothing to help with except damage.
Help. Pick me up.
The fuck are you?
Pick me up. You goddamn it.
I didn't realize you were crawling to me. I'm sorry.
That's
I'm gonna fucking die too,
like
probably.
$1 million fucking dollars.
You said you weren't even upgrading your shit. What do you need money for?
I don't even know what that means, what you're saying right there.
You said you weren't upgrading your STUs. So what do you need money for?
I was spinning on roulette.
Oh, shit.
For better weapons.
So I'm dead.
There should be ads spawning, no?
No, that's what makes it rough. I can't freeze anyone. I can't get most of my buffs and shit. It's rough.
What are you, a dog now?
I said that's rough. What?
Rough.
Where's Monty? He's not AFK.
Eating ass.
We need someone to make ridiculous fucking grunting noises and shit and talk like an ape.
Yeah, it's like he's it. It's
uncanny. I gotta check Discord because I hear that and I'm like, oh, Monty.
Is Monty? Did he just get here? That's his arrival. It's just fucking having a stroke.
Just stumbled into Discord.
Like a drunk or something.
Where am I?
Where am I?
The Billy.
Oh man. I don't know. Borderlands is okay. I don't think I completed the first Borderlands playing as a team of 4. Um, and it was really like we only ever played when all four of us were on and shit like that. And then Borderlands 2 I played here and there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I played Borderlands 1 at all and Borderlands 2.
Nope, nope, not supposed to be there.
Uh-oh. I couldn't get over the really shitty gunplay.
Yeah.
Part of it was because, you know, whatever the engine they were using, and the other part was that a lot of the guns sucked. Kind of like
definitely
this
an
game.
engine issue.
Where the fuck are we supposed to go once we get over here? This seems like something for later.
No, it's got that chest over there.
Yeah, but can't get to it.
I'm still excited about Shadowkeep. I haven't pre-ordered it yet, but I'm gonna.
Me neither.
Just not there yet. Waiting on the next paycheck round, and then, you know, bingo bango. Not gonna buy no $100 bullshit to get the minimum amount of money that I can get for me to give me all the shit that I need to have.
Well, I mean, I'm cautiously optimistic about it, but all these fucking changes they're coming out with, it sounds like they're just nerfing everything. I mean, we'll see how it feels when it comes out, but we already feel like we die all the fucking time.
There are some good things that they're doing, but there's a lot of bad things that they're doing.
Yeah, and then just, I don't know. It's just, you're gonna just have to play it and see if it all balances out correctly. It's like all the guns do more damage, but they all have less range and more drop off and shit. I don't get what they're going for.
Trash. They're going for trash. I don't know. It's probably not true.
Like all the guns, like it's kind of what I wanted to go back and kind of grind some shit out. Now I don't really see the point because all the fucking god rolls that I got are gonna probably be shit now since they're nerfing range.
Yeah. Well, that's probably, you can probably bet on that.
So I don't know. I'm gonna have to change up my whole thing. Probably just end up using the new shit. Right? Like when Forsaken came out, all the old gear kind of became obsolete.
Yeah.
So maybe they're gonna, all these guns get better range stats now, and that balances it out. But all the old guns are gonna suck, you know, kind of like how it is now. Hand cannons have way more range than they used to, so all the old guns are kind of garbage.
Garbo. That is how it goes. I'm hopeful for it. Yeah, they're nerfing a lot of shit in terms of abilities and stuff.
It sounds like it's going to be a lot more grindy too, which I know is kind of weird.
I don't
playing
think
Borderlands,
really nerfing the weapons. They're just fucking. Well, they're nerfing range on a lot of weapons, but at least assault rifles will be good.
Maybe
it'll be a nice change of pace.
Well, it would be nice to use it as an option. I don't know if I would main an assault rifle. I'll probably still just be stubborn and use hand cannons because I like hand cannons. As long as Jotun is still good, then we're good.
Right? I don't think they're nerfing grenade launchers.
Well, it's a fusion rifle, but I don't think they're nerfing those either, so.
Oh, we missed your jump.
Just away. Oh wait, I think we could fast travel. We gotta go assemble the rocket.
It's right here.
Oh.
Boyo, boyo. You mean, I mean, between this, I mean, this should hold us over till Destiny. We'll probably be playing a lot of this till Destiny. Usually we say that, and then like the week before some launch, we're like, "There's nothing to do."
Oh, well, we still got more characters at the very least.
You hear? Yeah, there's different characters to level. So, I mean, what are we looking at? It's the 22nd right now. So,
yeah.
I mean, what, 2 weeks? We got to push for 2, maybe 1.5 weeks.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, I think it'll be fine. There's always, we could dip back into 7 Days to Die a little bit if that becomes necessary. We were having a pretty decent amount of fun in that, just fucking around.
I played that for a day. Oh, we never
Played it for
talked
a
about
couple days.
Remnant from the Ashes. We haven't
Yeah.
podcasted since before that.
Yeah,
So
that
it's
game was good.
probably already known, but it's like Dark Souls meets Resident Evil meets Devil May Cry a little bit,
I would
maybe.
honestly say it's more like Dark Souls meets Diablo with some
No, I'm
first
talking
person
about like the
shooter, or
gameplay.
sorry, third person shooter. But yeah, you're gonna describe it as Resident Evil remake style because
Yeah,
it feels like that, and it really does. That's just the way the guns behave, though. That's not really the gameplay loop.
yeah.
It's
I
the
know, but
controls.
that's how it feels. It feels like you're playing Resident Evil
Right,
4 or
but the
something.
Dark Soul aspects are like the way the game works with bonfires and bosses, and
Which is
there's no
also,
soul
I always
elements
thought
to it.
that Dark Souls kind of had a weird, bigger scale Resident Evil thing about it with the levels that open up shortcuts and all that.
Yeah,
It's like a
yeah,
big version of navigating a
very
mansion.
Japanese thing. It's one of the things that's cool about Dark Souls, just that the world is just all connected. You know, there's most games will put you in segmented areas of a map, and they just, the game developer builds these maps and interlinks them through loading screens or doors and shit like that. But games like Resident Evil and Dark Souls, they build one whole big map and then they interconnect all this stuff. I'm sure the first Resident Evil was,
Well, I mean,
not
in
really
in theory,
interconnected, but
it's probably interconnected, but each room was its own thing because they were
right.
pre-rendered background.
I'm talking specifically about the remake. The remake is all one big area, and it's, interconnected as Dark Souls is. Sure, the first Resident Evil and probably a couple of them definitely had that instance thing going on.
Well, even
You know,
Resident Evil 1 remake had that going.
yeah.
Zero. I mean, I liked it. I
Um,
still think it would be cool to see what like 8K pre-rendered backgrounds would look like. You know,
well, I mean, there's a guy working on a game that heavily inspired by Resident Evil, and it looks really fucking gorgeous.
that Daymare 1998 is out too. It's supposed to be like a Resident Evil
We should
type of
definitely
game.
play some horror games in October after we've dipped into um, Destiny a ton.
I'd really like to play Daymare.
Yeah, man.
I mean, it's indie
There's
as fuck, but it's
quite
a
a
bunch
few
of people that
things.
like Resident Evil.
Um,
I don't know if it's in early access or it's out, but I've been hearing about it for a while. I don't know anything about it, but I've been hearing about it.
but I really love worlds that are interconnected like that. I will swoon over games for that kind of shit. That's really what I love the most about Dark Souls. It's not the challenge, it's not the RPG elements. It's the same reason I like Breath of the Wild. It's the massive fucking world with no loading screens hardly at all.
Yep. I'm trying to think about like how many loading screens actually are there in Dark Souls. I mean, they hide them all, right? They just put a
Uh,
wall up and say you can't go through
I
here.
think I think there are a couple.
When you load or when you
um
fast travel, I think there's quick one.
I think there's a couple. Well, what they do is they'll downscale shit that you can't see pretty heavily, kind of like Bethesda does. Uh, so stuff will look like terrible off in the distance, but you're not really meant to zoom in on it and see it. It's supposed to be like a shape in the background as you play the game.
Yeah.
But it's all there. I don't think there's any loading screens aside from teleportation. But when I say loading screen, I mean like a break. So a lot of game developers, what they'll do is they'll build a level and then you know, they'll create a new plane of existence in the game files, and then they'll just teleport you to that level later on, or whatever, whenever you access that area.
Yeah.
That's typically how games are made. But with Dark Souls, they just build one map, one area, massive area, and then they have you run through that basically. And then they use downscaling and shit. They do the same thing with Skyrim, but of course there's, going inside of buildings and shit and Elder Scrolls.
Yeah,
That
pretty much every building you go into is.
yeah.
Well, maybe
It's
not so
somewhat-
much
it's
Skyrim,
not
but definitely in Morrowind.
Right. It's not like on the same. So, I mean, and there's definitely benefits to it. Don't get me wrong. I understand the benefit of if you're making a game like Elder Scrolls, and you have all this outdoor shit. Like anytime you can take the player indoors and have them not have to have all that shit loaded in the background, it's just great performance wise. And then you can do way more with your dungeons. That's why they don't just put the dungeons underneath the world and have you, which is a thing they could do. They could have the dungeon be underneath the plane of existence of the overworld, and then you go in there and do stuff in there, and then that's how you can have kind of seamless transitions where there's no loading screen, but you always have all that shit loaded in the background. Dark Souls does this, but Dark Souls can get away with it because it layers so much. I think there's not a lot of detail to Dark Souls worlds.
Yeah,
They're very
there's not
dark
really
and-
I mean, there's chairs and shit and boxes that are destructible, but like anything that's like built into the walls, like that's not even.
Yeah, like where we're standing right now in Borderlands, like there's not even this much detail in a Dark Souls game. Like it's always dark and dreary and very planar or whatever the fuck it's called. Like very
Like, you can't lick the walls really.
desolate. Yeah,
You can lick the
very
walls
desolate
here.
shit. And it works. It works for Dark Souls because it's trying to set up this dark world. That's why I think. I mean, they made, even when they make other games like Bloodborne and Sekiro, it's always like dark, muddy worlds. You never get like pretty, gorgeous areas that are
Oh, maybe
super lit
maybe
up.
Elden Ring.
Maybe we'll see what they do with Elden Ring. I don't know if they'll be able to make it the same way.
Why is no one asking for more info on that game?
Yeah, I think they released another trailer, but it was pretty much the same shit that we've already seen. We'll probably get full info about that in the next
Nothing
E3
in
coming.
Tokyo Game Show.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The Tokyo Game Show, I think, had a slight trailer that wasn't that impressive, which showed pretty much the same.
The same cutscene.
Yeah, this is the kind of thing they do. So, when they first announced Sekiro, it was it was like a really short 5-second cut of the prosthetic arm, like ripping up or something like that. It was like whatever. And then the next year they showed a trailer that it was just like showing off characters and stuff and a little bit of gameplay, and it got people excited. So, they'll probably do something like that. But the Tokyo Game Show trailer is only like, it's 2 minutes, 30 seconds. But like I said, it's very similar stuff to what we've already seen. Guy slamming on a hammer with golden shit around him, talking to telling us that it's George Martin and the fucking Dark Souls people, the lady with all the arms holding the arm. Just pretty much the same shit.
Well, hopefully they just do what most Japanese companies do, and when you finally know what it is, it'll be like, and it's coming in 3 to 6 months. It's not any of this like, let's get hype for 3 fucking years, like Anthem.
Anthem's not doing too bad, apparently. Everybody that's playing that game still is having a great time with it. Apparently, they've made a lot of good changes to it that people have been asking for.
Well, it's already on Origin Access Basic.
It's a launch. What the fuck? Steam? Yeah, I mean, it crashed into the ground. I wouldn't say it's trash, but it crashed into the ground a bit. God damn it, computer!
EA's not even talking about it anymore. Well, Ben Irving left.
To be fair, I think Anthem, and we've talked about this before, so I won't go too much into it, but Anthem really got cancel culture, I think. And I know that that usually applies to like politics and, you know, saying stuff that isn't woke, but it's translating into video games with bullshit like, I don't love this video game, therefore it shouldn't exist. This video game's not exactly what I think it is. This game's got loot boxes, or this game doesn't do loot the way that I want it to. So let's get it canceled by spending weeks and weeks writing shit articles about it and, you know, talking trash on it and all this shit until it gets canceled. That's really how it feels with video games these days. I mean, if you want to, like, just look at the example of Borderlands 3 versus Anthem. There's not much different between these two games in terms of the loot, which is what people had a problem with. You know, that's what I'm going to talk to that. Like, you know, you can have a different opinion on gameplay and how the game plays and all that compared to Borderlands. Obviously, it's apples and oranges there, but realistically speaking, the problem people had with Anthem was the loot.
Yep. And they kind of did the same thing in this
same.
game. They just nerfed the good loot.
Right. This is the same. This game has the same loot system Anthem had when it came out. It's
there's less useless stats
random.
though.
Well, hold it. That's not fair because there are useless stats in this game, but at least the other game didn't have randomized everything, to be fair, with Anthem. Like, yes, it had useless stats, or maybe just stats that they didn't explain very well.
Well, the stats were just random.
Speaking to loot specifically that everybody bitched about, like, yeah, you're right, those bottom stats, but not the top ones. It was some weird shit that they worked through. The thing is, like, the weapon drops in the drops in this game are very similar to the drops in Anthem. They're random. Everything's random on them except for like some base components. Hell, this game is maybe even more random. And then you got the fact that this game just throws loot out that is low fucking quality all the time. Like, you still get whites and greens in this game, which was one of the biggest complaints people had in Anthem. And everybody shit on Anthem and gave it bad reviews because of that reason. And nobody shit on this fucking game. So the community,
I think you get more loot all around. I mean, that was one of the things people were saying about Anthem, is that if you're gonna have shitty loot like this drop, then we need a lot more loot.
I mean, maybe I don't remember clearly how, like, the comparison between the amount of loot that was being handed out, but I know there's going to be people out there. There's different people complaining about that game. It's the same community, man. The same people that played Anthem are playing Borderlands.
Well, the problem with Anthem, I think, is that they didn't know they wanted to be a looter shooter till the last minute. You know, because when I played the alpha,
some internal problems.
Well, when I played the alpha, they were still using like a skill tree. So all that random shit on the bottom of your gun, like, it wasn't random. You could just go into a skill tree and spec into it. I actually like that system a lot better. I mean, I got the video somewhere because I recorded the alpha. Probably no one fucking cares now. You weren't supposed to show it to anyone.
Again, I'm sure there were a lot of problems with Anthem because it was a brand new fucking game that BioWare had never done anything like before to any serious degree. So I think it gets a little bit of a pass compared to Borderlands, which is in its third installment and is still making that mistake. Still has those problems. But nobody complains about it, like, at all.
Well, some people do. But then there's always the fucking integrity. The diehards that are like, you're gonna ruin the game. I mean, it's always some shit. Now they're defending nerfing loot.
Yeah, because it's their homeboys. I love this game. The developers are doing everything correct.
The fucked up part is like, this whole fix that they did when nerfing the loot, it's all server side. So you can actually go offline, just disconnect your internet, and you'll have all the old loot back. That's part of the reason the performance isn't fixed, is because they haven't released a client-side update yet.
Fucking game developers, am I right?
I forgot to look at the fixes to see what sucks. So, dead air much? Sorry, I'm zoned in.
You were. I thought you were finishing your thought.
Sorry, I forgot. I'm fighting this fucking spider. All of a sudden, it got really tough to kill things.
It was the second one.
Oh, it dropped a legendary. It must have been a big spider.
That's why it was tough. Okay, 2 legendaries. I'll take it.
Sublime Storm Sniper.
But apparently Anthem's been updated in like Masterworks drop fucking everywhere now and shit. But you know, maybe when we get bored of this game before Destiny, maybe we'll go touch that one again. I don't know. I'm not subscribed to that shit anymore, so might not.
I mean, I am, but there's been a lot of games that I've played for a day, downloaded, played it. It's like, okay, done. Just uninstalled it.
Done.
Ghost Recon Beta. Oh my god, that was terrible. I know you guys don't think it's terrible. I think it's fucking terrible.
Well.
Oh my god, it feels like shit to play. It runs like shit.
Fair, Monty and I are able to look past the flaws of a game to see what is underneath it or what they're trying to do and likely going to do. I mean, you judge a game very harshly early on. There have been plenty of games where...
Well, I'll buy it later if it gets good, but...
There have been plenty of games where, you know, you start playing them and they're terrible and you don't want to play them anymore, but then you stick to it because we're playing it with you and then you end up getting addicted to the game. I mean, I remember Dark Souls. You hated the fuck out of Dark Souls. And then we beat it, and the next day or so, you were like, so I bought all the Dark Souls games.
I mean, Dark Souls 3 is definitely the best. Like, when I went back, I kind of still hate Dark Souls 1. I don't really hate it for what it is. I hate it for how much praise it fucking gets for all its flaws. Yet people are still... Dark Souls fans tend to not like 3 so much for some reason. 2 they hate, and then 3 they're like, eh. No, it's like, well, the first one's the best. No, it's fucking not. Period.
I'm just making a point. There's plenty of games that are like that, I think. And, you know, that's just how people are. That's how you are. I'm the kind of person that'll play a shitty game for a little bit longer than it probably deserves.
What are we supposed to be picking up here? I don't see anything. Sorry.
Oh, you didn't grab the eggs in there? There's little eggs when you break the big eggs. You got to pick them up off the ground. But
that's what I'm looking for, but I don't see them.
Ghost Recon, you know, I played Wildlands.
I don't think we could both pick them up.
It's not an amazing game by any stretch.
If it's a game like that where they expect you to put lots of time into it, if it doesn't feel good to play, like I just can't get past that. You know?
And I can understand that. Like Ghost Recon, for me, especially Wildlands, was the kind of thing you just drop into and do a little bit of it. It's a Far Cry type game, you know. It's not meant to be something that you sink hundreds of hours into. You play through it and then you're kind of done with it. There's no reason to keep playing beyond the, you know, couple of hours with your friend after you've beat the campaign or whatever, just to kind of keep shooting shit till you're like, yeah, well, okay, there's nothing to do, and kind of been shooting shit the whole game. So I guess we'll just stop. That's how Ghost Recon plays for me. Of course, it's not first person. It's a shoulder shooter. But I kind of like that because I'm a big Metal Gear Solid fan.
Yeah, I don't mind third-person shooters.
The third person.
That one just it feels
enough of those.
It feels like it wants to be the Division. It just doesn't do it as well.
Well, that's a big problem with Ghost Recon is that it's trying to be something else, but they already have Division. You know, they already have Far Cry, and it feels like they're trying to combine Far Cry and the Division, and it just doesn't really work. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't work. The story is lame. It's always the same story too. Oh, it's cartels
I
Okay.
accidentally went into your outrunner when I fast travel. So mine disappeared.
All right. Well, I'm almost there, but it's not a bad game to play with friends. It's not a game that I would play by myself. I never completed Wildlands. I played it for a couple hours, got it for like $5 or something. Um, so you know, it's okay.
Is that a boss?
Yep, mini boss.
Oh shit.
Okay.
Okay then.
It's a bounty.
Oh god.
Yeah, it knocks you back pretty serious. So
No weak point, I guess.
it's always
Oh,
the
it's the
tail.
ass.
So, I mean, Monty's probably gonna play that. I don't mind playing it. It's
I
not
mind.
something that Monty and I had a really good time playing that night. Like we
I
really
mean, what
did
did you
nothing at
do other
all.
than just go to
It was very
compounds
much
to take
like
them over?
Scum. If you remember Scum, it was very much like Scum. There, in the beginning, there's a lot of newer looking shit. It felt interesting and decent, but ultimately there wasn't much to do, and we just really kind of pushed it forwards with having a friend there to laugh at when they got fucked up and died. I mean, that was what was fun
You
for
can't do
me.
4 people in Far Cry? Is it just a max of 2?
No, 2 people only, unfortunately.
If only Ghost Recon fucking played better. Like, it is so fucking loosey-goosey feeling. They force you into this terrain where you have, like, no control over your character. You just slide down a hill.
Yeah, it's not too fun.
They gotta, like, if 90% of the terrain is, like, forest and shit like that, like, why the fuck wouldn't you give a better way to traverse it? And the driving is, like, really bad. Like, you will lose your car. If someone's chasing you, there's no getting away from it.
Yeah.
They're just gonna run you down. You're gonna slide off the road.
But I mean, that's hey, at least it's not fucking. At least it's
What?
not made by Bungie. Yeah. It is an Ubisoft game at the end of the day, and if you like Ubisoft games of like complete
Well,
the
that's
map,
the thing. Is
that's what
like
it
I
is.
know exactly what it's gonna be, and that plus how it feels to play is like, ugh.
Well, again, you're complaining about the feels to play, which is what I was talking about earlier with the how me and Monty are able to look past and what it is. Like game developers these days do when they give you betas, they're actually demos that they've taken around to conferences like E3 and give people the opportunity to play. The reason why they use those is because if they give you anything that's near the completed product, because it takes a so let's say you have a game and you want to give people a portion of it to play like a demo. Back in the day, what they would do is they would just give you the full fucking game on a disc or something like that. Well, before that, of course, they would take snippets of it. So they would just delete shit out of the engine and save a new version of the game that didn't have all this other stuff in it, basically. So then you could fit like that's why you would be able to fit multiple demos on one game disc from like PC Gamer or some shit or PlayStation Magazine. Those demo discs.
Yeah, jam
And you
pack.
take like the you take like the example would be a good example would be the Metal Gear Solid demo. The Metal Gear Solid demo covered the intro of the game. It was just the beginning all the way up until you have to crawl through the ducting to get into the next area. And they give you what they did there was they gave you access to items that weren't actually there, like the C4 and shit like that. And they placed it in the world, and then they just took the trigger out that transfers you to the next area, and then cut that bit out of the game. It was probably an earlier bit of the game, to be fair. But back then, they would flesh out all the engine work and shit in video games before they would start adding all these complex layers. Well, you flash forward to today with these more complex engines and things, and I'm saying that, but I don't know how difficult it is for these game developers to I'm not going to comment on that. I'm kind of amateur game development, so I don't really have any knowledge to how difficult it is for them to build the engine and the working parts. You want an example, like Kojima clearly builds out his engines before he starts level work. An example of that is the Fox engine. I remember like Electronic Gaming Monthly magazines, when that was still a thing, having pictures of the fucking Fox engine in it, and people were like speculating, what is Kojima making? And he kept saying it's just an engine. But then he would, it would be like these visuals of a guy with a mullet in a ponytail, which we know is now Big. Well, not, it's Big Boss. I'm going to say Big Boss. It's for Metal Gear Solid 5. At the time, it was called Project Ogre or something, and it had it was him as a character standing next to a vehicle. And then he would put out these little snapshots of like boardrooms that were actually rendered in the engine and compare those to the actual boardroom that they took that from. So he built that. He had his team build the engine and make sure everything was working before they produced any kind of like level design. And that's probably one of the reasons why Konami was upset with him, because he took so long to build the game. But I think people need to calm down with the whole, it takes so. I can understand a publisher and an investor, because Jesus, we've given this guy money and he's starting to eat into it. You got to pay those employees, so you got to have a return at some point. But some people, I think you can give a pass. At least Kojima, Jesus.
Yeah.
But
who knows? I mean, if he left to his own devices, it could take years.
Maybe, yeah. But
like more years than it should.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like he's being left to his own devices right now for Death Stranding, and he had to come up with a completely new concept of gameplay and characters. And
we'll see. Bold claims.
But nowadays, what game developers do is they have this big giant team, and everybody's working on parts at the same time, because you don't want to have the you don't want to. They used to have like the art team would come in later and they'd put the art team on a different project. And you can see this in Blizzard. Blizzard Entertainment still does this system where they'll move their team members around based off what a game needs at a certain time. And when you're fleshing out the game, you don't need the art team to come in and do art passes yet. So instead of just laying them off until it's time to fucking do artwork, you put them on a different project.
Yeah.
So that system, I think, works a lot better. That's why you get really good betas and shit from Blizzard, because they're not working on all these different aspects at once. But I think what Ubisoft does is I think they actually just have everybody work on everything at once in a game. Like, yeah, go ahead and start
one step at a time.
Right. Well, separate steps happening all at the same time, I think is what they do. Because when you get a demo or a beta, as they call it for these games, I think EA does it as well. It's always like these slices, vertical slices of the game. And like the gameplay sucks. It's not what it should be. It's like a buggy mess of broken shit.
Yeah.
And I know people are going to be like, yeah, well, that's a beta. Okay, no. That's a beta is feature complete, where you're just trying to figure out bugs. It's not,
demo.
Hey, the gunplay feels like shit right now, because we're still working on it. And I mean, people have proven this shit, that EA and Ubisoft take these builds. Once they get to a playable state, they'll get a playable state for the game, and then they'll go show that off at a conference. And that's what they give you for beta access. It's not an actual beta. I can tell you why it's not an actual beta, because it always happens like a week before fucking deployment.
Yeah.
Nobody is beta testing a game a week before the deployment. And it's a goddamn glorified demo that you pay for with their pre-order bonus bullshit. So I think
They
that's
need a
the
new
problem
word
with
is the
Ubisoft
problem.
games. Yeah, I think that's the problem with Ubisoft games. That's what was happening with Ghost Recon is, you know, it was not, the gameplay was not fleshed out properly. It will be at launch because I've played, you know, Wildlands, and Monty even spoke to this, like Wildlands feels way better than that. And it's the same fucking engine. So, you know, I don't know what the fuck's going on there.
Well, you can tell me when you get it.
I probably won't get it. Well, here's the thing. It comes. I'll get
fuck
it.
me, I guess.
I'll get
there's
it. But
Monty.
I won't get it right away because
We're podcasting, Monty, just so you're aware.
It comes out the same day as Destiny Shadowlands or Shadow, whatever the fuck, Shadow
Anus.
Shadow Anus. So obviously I'm not going to be playing it on that day. So, you know, until there's a point where there's like nothing to play, I guess I'll just wait. And at that point, fortunately, Ubisoft's one of those companies that's pretty generous with their games. They'll lower the price on their shit pretty early on.
Well, they got that subscription service now, so maybe not.
They're not as generous as Bethesda, though. Bethesda's super generous.
With their
Monty,
dick.
fuck you.
What?
That's right.
Why?
I agree.
I don't know.
So what do you think about Borderlands since you love all the Borderlands games?
Let's hear your
I
feedback. Compare it.
feel like Endgame needs a bit of tweaking.
In what aspect?
Well, I feel like instead of changing loot, they should change the content a bit. You know, instead of decreasing the amount of loot that you get. I mean, sure, maybe the loot was a little crazy, but I'm dying like left and right.
Loot should be crazy in a game like this, though, right? Isn't that what they
Well,
sold the
yeah,
game
yeah,
as?
exactly.
They sold the game as a
this
fuck ton
game-
of guns.
Yeah, over 1 billion guns, which
Right.
technically is a fucking
999
lie.
million of them feel
It-
like shit.
Well,
Technically is a lot.
it technically is a lie. I said a lie.
Oh, technically is a lot. Yeah.
Because it's more like
technically
200
not
guns.
a lie, it's
No, it's more like 200 guns with a bunch of different accessories or, you know, butt stocks.
right. It's 200 guns with variations,
Yeah, exactly.
which makes it technically 1 billion guns.
Technically, yeah,
That's,
sure.
you know.
Okay. Both me and my girlfriend have AR-15s. Mine has a different trigger, different
Technically,
butt
it's two
stock and
guns.
all that. Technically, they're two different guns, but technically, they're the same fucking gun.
But technically, you're also an asshole if you call it that.
What?
2 different guns. Saying if you call it 2 different guns, you're technically.
How many
an
guns do you
asshole.
have? One. My girlfriend and me. What?
No, I mean 2
mean-
different guns and not the same gun. I'm saying if you have, in Monty's situation, if you call him and his girlfriend's guns 2 different guns in terms of what type of gun they are, you're an asshole. That's what I'm saying.
I mean,
You know, forget it. The
Yeah,
old man doesn't understand what
well,
I'm
I
saying.
mean,
I don't-
hers is like a $400 pre-built, AR-15 that I put new grips on because she likes the color purple.
Can I just ask a question real quick? What the fuck is going on here?
I don't know. There's a legendary on the ground that I
There's
missed.
like 16 fucking badasses here. Anyways, I was agreeing with you, Monty, okay?
All
I know
right.
it's difficult for you because you're old, but I was agreeing with
All
What?
right.
you. Chloroform.
More like boroform. I'm sorry.
Should be.
You should be. Loser.
So what else? There's got to be gaming news, right? There's a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
I just can't remember it all.
I mean, yeah. Wasn't there a controversy or something recently?
I mean, probably. It sounds familiar.
With Steam or something like that? Sounds familiar. I want to say probably. As a betting man.
Oh, Steam in France? Yeah. So France, I don't know if this is happening or they're seriously considering it, but they're going to force Steam to allow their users to resell their games on Steam.
Yeah.
My prediction.
You guys were like, no.
My prediction is that they're just not going to have Steam in France. If that is more profitable,
be able to buy games.
Yeah, or that you could talk on the forums and you can see all the games in the store, but you just won't be able to buy anything.
Governments are fun,
aren't they? In the words of Dash, France is a bunch of dirty communists.
My God, did you see this shit that I put in memes? My girlfriend sent me the most fucking off the wall fucking text today.
Oh, this one. Okay. Okay. Is it mean if I call a gay idiot that hangs his gay flag at his desk a faggot? I don't know why I can't stand him. Your message is probably shouldn't do that.
Dude, I have her watch one Dave Chappelle special.
She's throwing faggot around. It's okay now again. That's such an Asian
right?
It's the most
one
Asian
Dave
thing
Chappelle
I've ever
special.
seen.
Oh,
okay. He's saying it, so I guess we can say it now again. It's
well, it was the one where he's like, why he's like talking to the woman that says that he can't say faggot in the TV.
I know. I've seen
So, like,
we've all seen it. That doesn't mean you can say it.
Yeah.
I love your response. Probably shouldn't do that. I can see though that this is probably a conversation the two of you have had about this guy, and you're in agreement with her, but you're like, nah, I don't think you should call.
I mean, I totally agree. She talks about him all the time. He's always pissing her off, but
well, yeah, they can't shut their fucking mouth. We get it. You're gay. It's like Pete Buttigieg.
Well,
okay.
Here, I'll read what she sent me.
Mr. Presidential candidate for the Democrats, I get it. You're gay. Stop bringing it up. I had to serve under. Don't ask, don't tell. Nobody asked. If you had to be,
no one's asking. You're still telling.
Nobody is asking if you're gay. Nobody cares what you do with your dick, Pete. Oh, look, there goes Pete with a guy. You think he's gay? Nobody's saying that. It's like, it's Pete and his buddy, Pete's guy that he fucks. Like nobody said. Let me give all you dipshits out there on the internet a little fucking tip for those of you that are fucking retarded. We don't care. Straight people don't care about gay people and their gay problems. We don't walk around and go, look at this gay guy taking a dick up the ass. No, we're not doing that. Okay? It's not happening. You're not that important. Stop. Just fucking live your stupid life. And it has, listen, Monty's life is stupid. Okay? So there you go. Right? It has nothing to do with you being gay.
I agree.
It's just, I think other people's lives are stupid because they're not mine. All right. Yeah. Here's a litmus test. Imagine that tomorrow all the food went away. Like there was no more trucks running food everywhere. Okay. How long do you think it's going to take before I eat your gay ass? I don't care about you. Okay?
24 hours.
Unless
based on the tone of this.
If you're, unless you're in my circle, that means
just
you're
see a broken down truck like it's happening. It's time. Let's go. Go eat the gay people.
There's a brownout. Let's fucking start eating people.
Is the logic here that you're starving? Or you're just going to start eating gay people as soon as the food supply runs dry.
No, the point I'm making
You're
is
gonna find out a hostess truck got in a car accident and he just starts carving up.
the point I'm making here, okay, is that if you're not in my circle, and that includes friends and family,
You're
and
slowly
sometimes not
losing your
family,
mind.
fuck
They're
off,
gonna
that's
fucking
what I'm saying.
they're gonna fucking find you in like a Dextered out plastic covered room. What are you doing? The Twinkie truck broke down. Okay, he's crazy.
Like Brian Regan out there. Hey, the Twinkie truck. God, why do people not watch this podcast?
Well, I'm guessing it's the sexism and the racism and
None of those things happen on this podcast, okay? Let me tell you how not sexist I am. All right, I'm gonna give you guys like a heads up on the internet here.
you just have to learn the difference.
No,
It's
no,
like
no,
it can be
here's
sexist if
it's
it's
fine.
funny, but it can't be
Well,
funny
firstly, it's a
because
joke.
solely because I'm just gonna say
Now
something.
most
sexist.
jokes
It's
are
gonna be
true.
funny.
Like I will eat gay
Dude,
people,
Beatrice is in this fucking
but I'll
building and
eat
we can't
straight
get to
people
it.
too. Okay,
Yes, we can. Never mind.
I will eat straight people as well. It's not the point. The point I'm making is I don't give a fuck about people. It doesn't matter if you're gay or straight if you're not in my circle, okay? But listen, I'm not, let me tell you how not sexist I am. I'm married to a woman, okay? I decided that
And she's
I
the one with
like
the job,
women
so
enough- I like women enough to hang out with one all the fucking time. So miss me with that bullshit. Not racist either, at least towards Asians. I can't prove otherwise. I'm married to an Asian woman. I love it when white people who are married to white people tell me I'm racist. I'm over here making mocha babies at some point. These fucking people with their blonde blue eyes. Shut up with your stupid car.
I'll zap your fucking car. There's no friendly fire.
There's no friendly. I'll zap your fucking car. Where we going, Thunder?
Towards the waypoint. And deliver this fucking cake. Oh my god! Like a glove.
Oh, the game won't let me get on top of your car. And so, it's long story short, fuck the government. Don't let the government get involved in video games, okay? Jesus Christ. People are fucking stupid. We had the conversation in the beginning of this podcast about dystopian society and how you can't put power in the government's hand to feed the poor because eventually they're just going to steal it from the middle class because the rich will leave and the middle class can't leave because they don't have the funds to leave. Same thing goes for video games. Don't let the government get involved in your video games, idiots. They're going to make stupid decisions like this. You better let them sell it, or else what, motherfucker? Or else you don't get Steam anymore? Think about it. Imagine you are a French citizen right now, okay? Imagine that. And Valve decides that they're just not gonna fucking sell their shit anymore in France. Who got fucked on that one, huh?
Well, they got to get their money one way or another.
Corporate
So.
Valve, did they get fucked? Or did you, the fucking tax-paying citizen, get fucked? But listen, let me promise you something, okay? Let me promise you one thing in life right now. Your politicians do not, just like me, they do not give a fuck about you. They will also eat you, okay?
Probably for no reason.
Probably for no reason. Let me tell you something about fucking politicians, okay? Their goal is to make money. It's their job. Like anybody in life, their goal is to make money. And they want raises all the time, just like you do, Timmy. And if you don't have a job, you can't understand it, I guess. Sorry. I mean, maybe you could be a decent person and figure it out that people who make money want more money to be made, okay? And even if it means that the expense of Dave, who they pretend to like every day, all right?
Yeah, but fuck
That's
Dave.
the fact. So you know what your politician's goal is here? It's not because they care about you. It's because they want They want Steam to get involved. They want the video game industry to get involved in politics. They want that fucking video game money, just like they already have movie money and they already have fucking food money and all this other shit, drug money, all this shit. Be it, and I'm talking both drugs, FDA approved and non-FDA approved. They want all of it. They want the same thing to happen in the game industry that already happens in the movie industry. They want lobbying motherfuckers to come to the government and say, we'll give you a lot of money, Mr. Senator, if you just do what we say to do. And he'll say, oh, yeah, I love you guys. You guys are great. I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, dude. Man, I love video game peoples. This dude's got a tire thrower.
Tire. Oh, yeah, I saw that. I don't know how to get that, though. I don't even know if it's good. I mean, the saw roller is shit. Fuck, it sucks.
Fucking sucks. That's all that's going to happen, man. That's their goal. So, you keep getting these game developers involved in politics, they'll eventually just start sending lobbyists like every corporation does. And it won't stop there. First of all, they'll take away they'll deregulate your shit, okay? They will 100% get out of that game. You think you're going to fucking push game developers and publishers like EA into being forced to do shit? You're retarded. That's not what's going to happen. You might at first. You might get loot boxes banned at first, but as soon as they start lobbying the government, who do you think is going to give up? You think who do you think cares? Okay, you got senators.
Look, even if you get all microtransactions and loot boxes banned or whatever, they're going to have to keep making money. They're just going to keep coming up with new microtransaction systems or something.
Right, but if you get
either that or they're just going to raise the price of games.
They're not. Right, they're going the other way. They're doing all these subscription services.
And that's where we are now. Yeah. That's where we are now.
It's like no matter what, you're going to be paying. Because right now, it's like the only people that pay for this shit are the people that want to. The people that don't want to pay for the fucking microtransactions, you don't have to. They're like most games.
Yeah, but it's gambling and people are addicted and it's a disease. They can't control it. And they just keep gambling.
Involved. Listen, as soon as you get the government involved, it stops being about finding new ways to make money and starts being about forcing the government through bribery into doing whatever the fuck they want. You lose the power as the gamer, okay? Right now you have the power of saying we don't want this and not paying for it, okay? But when the government gets involved, you lose that power. You can see this across anything that's already has government regulation attached to it. What's going to happen is Valve is you're going to get your senators and congressmen, you're going to get them to successfully fucking ban loot boxes, and then Valve's going to go to them and EA is going to go to them, and they're going to leech money into the government through lobbyists, and they're going to get bills passed that undo all of that. And then they're not going to stop there, because once they're in, they're going to stay in.
Come check out this gun.
They're going to be like, hey, look at this. We're already fucking here. Might as fucking well, right? And then they're going to start pushing it in the opposite direction where you don't want it to fucking be.
Oh, I've gotten one of those. It's like the Mario gun.
What?
You want this gun?
Nope. I'm good.
Oh, Gabller.
Well, actually, I think I have something for Gabller, too.
Oh, people have stuff on me. It's on my birthday.
You want the Super Bowl gun?
Gun that you were
I don't know if this would be good outside.
I hope it's that goddamn shotgun. No. I already have a better one of these that TheKnightTerror gave me.
Oh, all right.
And, I was hoping it was that shotgun.
What shotgun?
The shotgun you gave me back in the day that like shot shit out of it.
I guess I could give you one. I do have one on my wall. Wherever my wall
Well, is it good? I mean...
Well, those shotguns, they all come out the exact same. It's right here. They all come out the exact same, so... I'm pretty sure it only rolls. It's the one...
What is it? Speed running.
The Hellwalker, yeah.
Is it? Is it grenade launcher?
Oh, wait, grenade launcher?
No, it was like it was a shotgun that shot like frost grenades. You remember that?
Oh, okay, never mind. Then that's not it. Yeah, I have no idea.
I got this weird fucking thing. Look at this gun. Look at this gun.
It's like a wow. That's
It
like
does
is
great
that a
up
TK
close.
Wave?
What?
That TK's wave?
Right?
It's got 2 fucking rows of it. Bro?
It's iron willed the tidal wave.
Oh,
Anyone want a
interesting.
corrosive
So
shotgun?
Jacobs. Maybe.
Interesting.
So let's see. We got Bungo coming up soon with a Destiny. I've had one of these. These things are terrible. They charge up.
Yep. But it's corrosive.
Yeah, I already got a corrosive rocket launcher. Thanks for filling that dead air.
Fuck yeah, my dude. Oh, that's a
You
grenade.
want to try this one? The Damned.
The Dermed. I don't know. Like, what else is there? What else we got?
Well, I don't know. We played Remnant. We played Destiny. We played Borderlands. Played Ghost Recon the beta.
We got some stuff on the horizon.
Yeah, Cyberpunk, and I know you're gonna play Death Stranding. I don't have a PlayStation.
Hell yeah, you do. You just
Oh,
let
I
your
do,
wife
but-
have it for some reason instead of buying.
I
a
can't
$40
stream it.
Fire Stick. Yeah, you can. You stream from PlayStation.
Yeah, but it looks like shit, and it's on Wi-Fi.
It's gonna look like shit anyways because it's a goddamn fucking console.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, well, stop caring about how it looks.
Right? I mean, if you have
I can't
it,
use Discord at the same
like-
time. Like, I got my whole setup in here.
Yeah, you can. You just move it into there and plug it into your monitor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't do that.
That's
And
what
we're
I'm
not gonna have
gonna do.
anything. We're not gonna have anything to watch on the TV.
Yeah,
We
once
can't
I
be
got
moving
my
it back
new
and
desk
forth.
What the
set
Fire
up, I'll-
Stick's for is $40 Fire Stick.
I know.
Boom.
I got one, but it's in the bedroom.
What? If you unplug it and plug it in for the time that you're playing the game.
Once
I
I
can't
get
put
my,
my wife through
new
that.
desk set up, I'm gonna get a mixer and have my fucking PlayStation on my desk.
I got my PlayStation in here already. It's to my right with a big TV. I haven't used it since Red Dead. I'm excited. It's not a PlayStation Pro, but I don't need that.
Neither
Oh,
is mine.
apparently you do nowadays because like even the Resident Evil 2 on regular PlayStation ran at like 20 frames per second or something.
I just wish that the PlayStation Pro was more along the lines as what fucking Microsoft did with their better Xbox. Because the
Well, they're not
PlayStation
doing
Pro
anything 'cause
isn't that
The
much.
next generation's
of
coming
an up.
down. So
Yeah.
that was just a cash grab, man, from both parties.
Yeah. I mean, Microsoft did it better, though.
Yeah, sure, I
Like-
guess.
I think they were just
Because-
trying to avoid another fucking 10-year console life cycle.
Yeah.
Exactly what it is.
Well, fucking PlayStation has 4K.
I think what
upscaling,
happened was
whereas
I think
the
what happened
Xbox actually has like.
that's what
4K.
happened was 4K became popular in the time between the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5. The same went for Xbox, and they wanted to get in on that. So they had to release something that could run 4K. That's exactly what it was. It's the only benefit of having a Pro is for running 4K. That's the only point.
Or if you want 60 frames per second on a lot of games.
Well, okay, so some game developers are fucking around and making it on Pro specifically. That's fucked up on the game developer. Okay, like, come on. Kojima's not going to do that.
Wow, I
It's
just
not his
got
style.
double money jackpots. Sorry, that never
Yeah,
happens.
you'll lose all of it whenever
Whenever
you
I die.
First time you die.
All right. Dallas Buyers Club. I got AIDS. Me too. You know what I'm saying? Oh man. So yeah, we got Destiny 2's expansion coming up in October. What is it? October? Is it October 1st?
Should be the first. Yeah, I'll finally get. They sent me an email like you're gonna get your fucking download key for Steam on the 27th. So I got
Yeah, I'm
that
gonna
to
buy
look
it
forward
on
to.
Steam.
I bought it straight from Bungo store.
Apparently, you can't do that anymore. The store's closed.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yep.
Yeah, you got to do it on Steam.
That's weird.
So that's weird.
And you haven't been able to buy silver since like 2 weeks before we stopped playing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice.
And then what's after that? November
Cyberpunk?
is Death Stranding, and this month we've had Shenmue, right? Or is that not out yet?
It's not out yet.
I'm probably not getting Shenmue.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm probably waiting
not
on it.
I got the first and second one.
Yeah, I'll
I'll
wait
wait.
for reviews. You know, if it's because you know, I'm all for nostalgia, but that game just looks like garbage. And they can say nostalgia all they want, but you know, it's.
Jesus.
I mean,
What's your take on fucking Legend of Zelda fucking remake that came out?
what? I have no idea what you're talking about.
The remake that just came out for Switch for the Legend of Zelda.
Which Legend of Zelda?
It's the one that was on the Game
Link's
Boy.
Awakening.
Link's Awakening, yeah.
Oh, I mean, I haven't seen anything about it. I don't really pay attention to Nintendo.
It's very
shit.
cartoony looking. I mean, it looks miles better than the
I mean,
original.
if they're going for a certain look, sure. I mean, if they're trying to make it like a chibi cartoon looking thing, then sure, whatever. As long as, you know, the images are sharp. But if you come into 2019, 2020, whenever the fuck Shenmue's coming out,
I mean,
and you're going to release a game that looks like it should have come out on a goddamn PlayStation 2.
People can say all they want, but like, I owe a lot to Nintendo. Like right now, I'm in here. My wife is leaving tomorrow, and I'm gonna have to hang out with her this evening. But like right now, I'm in here. There's nobody in here because she's off playing fucking Legend of Zelda. So, I owe a lot to Nintendo. I love my wife. Okay, give me a break. It's not like
I'm
she's
just
gay
saying
or
that
something.
Like, there's a lot of
No.
games that I would
Shenmue-
play,
Shenmue-
except it's
Shenmue
just there's not
looks-
not enough games to make me want to buy a console.
Breath of the
Sorry.
Wild, 100% worth it.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild, I think, is like the biggest reason to buy a Switch.
That game is worth $300. Not even fucking
Yeah.
around.
In my eyes, it is too.
Absolutely. That changed video games for me. I'll never look at
And,
Elder Scrolls
you
the
know,
same.
I hacked my Switch so I can fucking, you know, do whatever fucking games for free. I
Holy
want.
hacker man.
I mean, I bought Breath of the Wild. I own that game. I own a bunch of other games too, but you know, the smaller shitty shit that I'd never pay for, I'm fucking downloading that shit.
All right. His name is Monty. His address.
I mean, whatever. I you know what I hate these days? I hate that there's no rental services for video games really anymore. I used to be able to go down to fucking Blockbuster or fucking whatever other rental
GameStop's
place.
turning their fucking shit around. They're gonna try to make it to where it's a place to go in and hang out and play video games. So
I mean, whatever. If they do that, then sweet.
Retarded.
But you know, if they're making me pay like fucking $20 for a goddamn hour, because there are places like that, especially around military bases. Back when I was in like basic training, they had like video game dungeons where, you know, you get this card and you load it full of time, and you know, X amount of money equals X amount of time you get to play on these consoles or whatever. So, I mean, it's not a bad idea for like people that, you know, don't have access to the shit. But, you know, it gets expensive because it's like $20 an hour, which is pretty outrageous.
Oh shit. This gun is legendary. It does 464 times 5. It's a pistol. Jacobs.
Is it a masher?
Yep.
Yeah, mashers are good. They're essentially a non-exotic or whatever, a non-orange Maggie.
Only 5 shots.
Oh, double legendary. God damn it, they're grenades.
Oh, double rainbow all the way.
Hey, you retarded.
I have 11 keys that I can pull out of my.
All right, new grenade. Here we go. You ready for this? New grenade.
Oh, is that the storm one?
Yeah.
That takes way
That's
too
all
long.
right. I kind of like that one because even though it looks like it's not doing anything, if an enemy walked into that mess, they'd be getting electrocuted by all that shit. It's not a bad grenade, especially for enemies with big shields.
A special Wii.
Fuck y'all, Bob.
Fuck.
Jeez, I
yeah,
might have to
Bob.
save this one. I don't know if I can deal with the fucking 5 magazine size.
You want to see a crazy fucking gun? I don't know if you've ever gotten one of these, Night Terror, but here, if you come to my room.
Come to his
Oh.
room. Come to my room, Night Terror. Hey,
This
Katie,
thing is fucking crazy.
come to my room. Oh,
Just hold down the trigger.
where's the trigger?
Wow.
Right?
And then Cyberpunk and Final Fantasy VII in the same month. I don't know what to do.
I'll definitely play Final Fantasy. I don't know about Cyberpunk.
Here's what I am gonna do.
I'm not completely sold on
We're
Cyberpunk.
playing the
Oh, I
fuck
am.
out of Cyberpunk, you retard. Okay, sorry. Here's the thing that I'll say, okay? Aside from what I just said, I am definitely going back and playing the original Final Fantasy VII before the new Final Fantasy VII. Are you with me, Monty? Are you with me?
Yeah, I can do that.
I'm
I was
gonna do
debating
it
on buying
on
it.
Stream. I'm gonna stream it. That's gonna be my
Holy
comeback
shit,
stream.
you're gonna stream again? You mean I've been still paying for these fucking subs for a reason? You're actually going to stream again?
It
Are you gonna
says
pick up that legendary or what?
Well, here's my question about this legendary. It's got 0 capacity, 0 recharge delay, 0 recharge rate. It's called Adrenaline Rough Rider. It takes more than that to kill a bull moose.
Wait,
Plus
what are the stats on it?
48% reload speed while shield is depleted. Rough Rider, Adrenaline.
Oh.
Reduced incoming damage by 23% and grants 35% max health.
Yeah, so that would be good for like that other I don't know what piece of gear it is, but for the lower your shields, the more movement speed and gun damage you do.
It's probably an artifact or something.
Yeah, I mean
I
that's
think this
only
is
good
my
for
last-
specific
Or
shit.
if it's a mod, then it's
All right, here's the last key.
specific to your character type.
Trash.
Oh, look like a lot of garbage.
Why does this even give purples, man? See, this is what I'm
Why does
talking
it
about.
even get blues?
Everybody's like, Anthem's loot sucks. That's why that game sucks. And then Borderlands 3 comes out and you still get white gear at max level. And people are like, this is great.
Hey, I have one piece of white gear here. Come look at my wall again. You're gonna laugh your ass off.
Oh, I better. Because I don't like false promises.
See that white piece of gear there?
Oh yeah, the Echo 2.
You see the fucking damage on that thing?
It's called Person of Non-Color, fucking douchebag. Racist fuck.
Yikes.
What is that? 6339? Is that what you're talking about? The damage on that grenade?
Yeah, the damage. It's a white grenade. It's a special. It should. I'm assuming it's supposed to be a legendary, but it's white.
White. It's the
White.
Echo 2, man.
Yeah. Claptrack makes
It says,
a
do
joke
not
about
throw
it at the
Echo
beginning
2.
of the
Do not
game.
hold Echo 2 close to face. Do not look directly at Echo 2. Yeah, he makes it. That's the one he makes the joke about in the beginning of the game.
Yeah. I actually found that shit. from the
Nice.
chest. I got it from the chest. I was like, why the fuck is there a white in here? And then I looked at it and I'm like, oh, it's actually not bad.
White. The white, yeah, it's
Like
legendary.
it's got
status.
massive fucking
It's definitely
radius
legendary
and
status.
damage.
The whole point of it is that it's a joke. That's why
Yeah.
it's a white item.
I just wish it mounted on the wall correctly.
Isn't TDR the company that just like is like the secondhand shit where they take all the old shit and make new shit out of it?
Well, it's weird because technically it's a
What?
it's goddamn push it up. It's supposed to be a doll, you know, from the doll company, but for some reason it's TDR.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Don't they take shit from other companies and then put their name on them? Like, don't the
think
guns do the
so.
same thing? Like, aren't they just like shitty versions of other guns?
It's a
Yeah, I
copycat.
think so. Yeah, they just take shit and copy it. Although I do have one Vladov gun that takes shit from Hyperion. Let me try and find it. Should be in here somewhere.
Hyperion.
Yeah, it's like a Vladov assault rifle with a Hyperion shield on it. So that's kind of cool. Why do I have two dictators?
Whoa, thought you were gonna say something else.
You can't.
Dictator.
Why do I got two dicks in my
I
mouth?
guess that's it for the
In my
podcast. I
ass.
don't know what else to talk about. I mean, we can get political, but
Yeah, no, that just turns into the Gambler show.
isn't that what this fucking is?
I mean, you want to pay the hosting service
What
fee?
the fuck? I thought that's what you
It could
told
be
me
yours.
this was in the beginning. You
The
tricked-
Gabler and Gabler show.
You baited me. Oh, fuck Angry Joe.
This is
Okay.
Gabler
what I'm saying.
versus the imaginary people fucking yelling their counter argument.
What
And
the
Gabler
fuck?
said,
I thought I had like this special fucking weapon. Where the fuck did it go? Did I throw it away? It's not the shredder.
Is it on your wall?
No, it's not. It's not the damned. Oh
I
wait,
wanna
it
say-
is the damned, I think.
I want to close by saying fuck Angry Joe and people like him that try to get games that they don't even play modified. Okay. I know for
Yeah.
a fact Angry Joe doesn't play NBA or whatever the fuck it is that just came out and had this controversy about loot boxes. Apparently, other people that play that game
I just
do.
realized I have two of these, so you guys
The
can have
majority
them.
of sports games players are not normal video gamers that play like Borderlands when it comes out and everything else like Angry Joe. It's like fucking people that live normal lives and fucking have jobs and girlfriends and shit. I'm not I'm trying to describe a certain group of people here. It's like it's people that like listen to rap music.
"What are you talking about?"
And they have money and they want to spend that money on their favorite fucking sports game. And they should be allowed to. So shut the fuck up. All right? If you're not grinding out fucking NFL or fucking Madden or baseball games or basketball games, if you don't grind those games out, shut the fuck up about the practices of the game developers and publishers of those games. Okay? You are not the fucking audience just because you like to dip in every now and then once a fucking year or once every 3 months or some shit. You are not the fucking target audience. Shut the fuck up. All right?
Yeah, what he said.
Yeah.
What did he say?
Yes.
All right, well, I guess that can be the podcast. A little rough getting back into it, huh?
And he
That was
gets
easy.
I mean, I can't think of anything else relevant unless they just want to listen to the commentary on
This is my outlet. My
Borderlands.
outlet.
But if you want to do that, you should just watch the stream where you can just watch this happen, but also have video too.
right. You should hear the shit that we cover when we're.
Why is it that 9 people listen to this podcast and no one watches my fucking stream? You don't have to
where
wait.
the fuck are these 9 people?
This is supposed to be working according to, all the people that haven't made it who write articles about how to make it on Twitch and shit. I mean, Mixer,
give this
whatever.
bitch 500,000 fucking clams.
Yeah, I'm about to give her claim.
Okay. And that's our show. You can follow me on Mixer, on Twitter, on Facebook at TheKnightTerror. Gabbler's the Gabbler.
Mm-hmm.
Monty is
Monty 4
off the
G6
grid.
3 78 91 1999 wheels.
Wait,
420 69.
420 69.
Anything else? Plug anything?
Plug my dick into your mom.
Yeah,
Yikes.
I knew that was coming. All right. Well, then we'll call it there. Thanks for listening, everyone. Next Sunday, hopefully we can get our shit together and do episode 1247. I'm
Yep.
totally keeping count.
Thanks for hanging out.
All right, later.
Remember, women's place is in the kitchen.
See, is it funny because it's sexist, do you think? Or
It's funny
is it
'cause it's
funny
true.
in spite of being sexist?
It's funny because it's true.
So you're not joking. That was a question. And he's gone. All right. See you next time, everyone.